It has been nearly 3 years since I reviewed the original AirPods Pro. Upon release, they were an entirely unique departure from the original AirPods. They had silicone tips, an active noise cancellation, transparency mode, and other new features that I had to contextualize and demo in my video review. They were, in many ways, a first mover, a massive, impressive technological leap in the true wireless buds market, with really only one competitor, the Sony WF-1000 XM3. Great name. A product that sounded marginally better than the AirPods Pro, but was worse in literally every category. In the last 3 years, Apple has frankly done very little in the audio department. They released the good, but not great, and incredibly expensive over-ear AirPods Max with the same hardware features as the AirPods Pro, and then they released a refresh of the dependable but boring entry-level AirPods. To say that the rest of the market has caught up would be an understatement. So the question becomes, do the second generation AirPods Pro improve upon their predecessors enough to A, warrant their price premium, and B, to weather the market for the next several years? Well, I'm a longtime tech reviewer and audiophile, so you've come to the right place. Just like Skylum when they came to us as a sponsor to talk about Luminar Neo. Luminar Neo is my go-to AI-driven photo editing software. In addition to excellent built-in presets and fine editing tools, their AI gizmos are money. With easy sliders, you can, for example, relight photos like this one without lifting those ugly crushed shadows. You can clear up your skin, you can thin out your face, enhance eyes. Heck, you can erase power lines and so much more. You can run the software standalone or as a plugin inside of Lightroom, Photoshop, and even Apple Photos. But what's new are their extensions for even further expansion. Hdr Merge allows you to take up to 10 exposure bracketed images and create a single HDR photo. It's got excellent auto alignment if you don't have a tripod, and ghost reduction for when you've got moving objects in your shot. Making HDR processing a one-button press is a dream come true. The other new plugin, Noiseless AI, is a lifesaver when you don't have enough light data hitting your camera sensor. Neural nets, in conjunction with manual control options, help you get higher quality, more precise, faster results than trying to do it manually. By the end of 2022, Luminar Neo will have 7 total extensions. The app has got an excellent pricing model. You can either subscribe monthly or yearly and get all current and future extensions included, or if you prefer, you can purchase a one-time lifetime license and then buy the extensions pack separately. If you do choose to subscribe, you can save 10% off a yearly subscription by using my link down below and the code SNAZZY at checkout. If you enjoyed the fit and the shape of the original AirPods Pro, well, you're in luck because dimensionally, nothing has changed. In fact, spotting the differences between the two from the exterior is tricky. The new Pros, well, they inherit that skin detect sensor that was introduced on the AirPods 3 refresh in lieu of the original optical sensor, and it's mighty good. Now you can place one or both of the earbuds in your pocket or on a table or anywhere else without resuming media playback accidentally. That is something that always bothered me with the original Pros. The only other change visible on the buds themselves, save for one little microphone grill being moved, is the ear tips. The AirPods Pro 2 ship with a sparser mesh. Now, media outlets were quick to criticize this as a classic Apple cash grab, but it's a stupid argument because the tip fitment tabs, they haven't changed at all. First generation tips can still fit on the new AirPods, as do all third-party tips. And Apple sells replacements for both at the same price. There is a real reason, and it's this. Tips can and do make a difference in tuning. This is a measurable statement of fact, and I don't understand the skepticism from tech blogs. In short, you should stick to the tips that are intended for the generation of AirPods that you own for optimum sound. However, there is one exception, and it's an excellent improvement that is made in the second gen tips that I have not seen marketed anywhere by Apple. I want you to go right now, well, don't actually, because retention, you gotta watch this video. Search the web for AirPods thumping. You will find endless threads from people over the years stating that while running or walking, there's a loud thud in their eardrum with every step. This is a phenomenon not exclusive to the AirPods. The effect is called tunneling, and it's the result of sound waves being trapped inside your ear canal, going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Now, AirPods, they actually have microphones inside your ear canal so that they can measure and reduce the effect of tunneling caused by artificial noise. that is to say the noise created by the AirPods. But there is another natural tunneling source that comes from bone conduction. Basically, when your ears are sealed off, your body is a huge drum, and hitting your feet against the pavement will send those vibrations up your bones into your ear canals. Sounds crazy, but it's true. Both my wife and I experienced audible tunneling discomfort running with the original AirPods Pro. However, with the AirPods Pro 2, this effect has entirely disappeared for Megan, and it's drastically reduced itself for me. Passive radiation in general is much improved, and that is excellent. The last hardware change on the buds themselves, but not one that is visible to the naked eye, is the updated capacitive control surface. In addition to the force-sensitive playback controls we've had since the original AirPods, you can now swipe up and down to raise and lower the volume respectively. One swipe represents one volume gradation increase, just as it would be if you pressed the volume button on your phone or on your keyboard. So sometimes you've got to swipe, swipe, swipe to get the volume up quickly, but I find myself using it to control the volume anytime my phone isn't already in my hand. I do it instead of reaching into my pocket. It's that good. It works that well. I am super glad that it exists and that I will never have to summon Siri ever again to change volume when my phone isn't in my hand or in my pocket. The case, that's the thing that really looks different. Not coincidentally, it's also one of the things that inherits the most new features. Now, while the physical size hasn't changed, its feature set has. The addition of greatest import? Well, in my opinion, that's gotta be the U1 chip. This allows for several nice quality of life changes. Not only does it permit Find My network integration, giving you the case's approximate location as long as another iPhone user on the planet is nearby, but the case itself can now communicate with your phone via Find My, even without the buds inside. This is a huge help to me, a serial case misplacer. Now, while the case gets U1, the AirPods themselves, they do not. They are able to be roughly located using the Find My app based on Bluetooth signal strength, as they have always been, or via Audible Alert. But that's only to devices where the buds have been paired. That doesn't extend to the Find My network. So you've got to make sure that you save yourself the headache of losing the buds. Just put them back in the case when you're done. Speaking of audible alerts, the case also inherits its own speaker. But unfortunately, the speaker cannot play Rapper's Delight Taylor's version. It can only chirp like a stupid bird. It has an on by default but disableable confirmation tone when it's plugged in or placed on its own charger. And it can also squawk when lost. Quite loudly, I might add. By the way, let's talk chargers. USB-C didn't become a thing. Really frustrating. It really should be. We're stuck with Lightning, but at least we have Qi support, MagSafe support, and now Apple Watch charger support, which no one asked for that, but okay. It's kind of convenient because I have a MagSafe Duo charger and I don't have to charge my Apple Watch every day because sometimes I don't wear my Apple Watch, and so it's nice to be able to, charge my phone and then whatever secondary device, but just give us USB-C. The other benefit of the U1 is battery status. Every AirPods model up until now has required you to flip the lid to wake the buds up, which would then communicate with you the updated battery level on the case, but then you have to remove the earbuds individually to get their individual battery status. It sucked. That whole song and dance, that's done with. The AirPods Pro 2, they now persistently update status for both the case and the buds real time, even when separated. It is spectacular. The last new case feature is, well, just a little cute lanyard loop right here. I won't be using it, but I know that many people buy a case explicitly for this purpose, so for those people, that's going to be nice. It also cleverly doubles as an antenna for the case itself, which, is the most Apple thing I've ever heard, and in a good way. You can't help but smile a little bit. They're like, hey, we got to have an antenna. Why not make it a loop? Anyway, enough foreplay. Let's jam these things in. Now, while I don't like the term myself, I am what most people would classify as an audiophile. I've been into hi-fi for the better part of 10 years, owning all manner of equipment, and I've been to trade shows, etc. I'm an audio nerd. It was always my opinion that the sound quality on the original AirPods Pro was fine and inoffensive, but just fine. The tuning wasn't to my personal preference. It lacked defined sub-bass, but felt bloated in the mid-bass. Mids in the 2 to 4 kilohertz range were decent, but there was pretty aggressive roll-off right after 5 kilohertz, which resulted in a disappointing lack of sparkle, with female vocals feeling veiled, and with brass and percussive instruments losing all chutzpah. Furthermore, the soundstage was okay, but not great. With not a lot of headroom, there was lacking instrument separation and a general lack of detail pretty much anywhere but the lower mids. The sound was fine, but not quite good. AirPods Pro 2 have stepped things up noticeably. The first thing that immediately stands out is the sub bass. There is a lot more. In Georgia Smith's On My Mind, in the chorus, there's this gnarly, distortion-heavy sine wave bass that comes in. And I wouldn't say that on the new AirPods it's super tight yet, like it is on really good headphones, but it takes the burden away from that horrid mid-bass of the prior generation. And it just brings a lot of dynamicism and fun to the low end that the OGs lacked. Lower and upper mid-range, those are also noticeably improved over the originals, which is nice, considering that this is one of the first gen's few strengths. There is even more presence in Alex Turner's vocals on Arctic Monkeys' There Better Be a Mirror Ball. His voice cuts through the instrumentation where other headphones often falter at bringing him to the front. It really is a very good job. And then higher female vocals, well, they suffered the worst on pretty much all other AirPods models, but not on here. On the track Tokai by Teiko Onuki, I'm sure I butchered that, the singer's high-pitched and very quiet, power-lacking vocals, they feel present. And they feel forward, even with the overly mixed drums and slap bass. This is a great song, by the way, for testing equipment, because everything overpowers her voice. You've got to have good equipment to hear the difference. And also because the backup singers, well, they sound like they're from a Mario game, so that's pretty fun. You're still going to lose upper, mid, treble, and the highest end stuff, basically 8 kilohertz onward. Snarky Puppy's Afro-inspired Javi really punishes headphones because it's got a thick, powerful sub bass line, and then there's a pretty heavy drum line, but then you've got a whammy bar laden clavinet. Seriously, look at this thing, it's ridiculous. That pushes really high up into frequencies that the AirPods Pro, they just can't quite handle. And then you add in the brash Flugelhorn, that's German, the Flugelhorn, and the trumpets, and the breathy Bansuri, all at the same time. These are all instruments, I'm not making stuff up. And you start to lack distinct instrument separation that you get on better headphones. With that said, most headphones struggle with this song. And the AirPods Pro, despite their lack of texture, they never sounded bad. They never were super overwhelmed. They actually remained really fun and engaging for all 10 minutes of the song. And that is not often something I can say. So summarized, the new AirPods Pro, they're not fine. They're good. They're very good. They have much better soundstage and separation, significantly higher pressure sub bass, even more than measurements would suggest, like this one from Critical. There are improved mids for even better male vocal performance, and finally, good female vocal performance, with a little roll-off over the OGs for slightly less sibilant cymbals. That was kind of a struggle of the originals. These are definitely more colored, and they're more dynamic than the originals. They are not flat. They ain't even close. But I think they're a lot more fun, and pretty much everyone that buys these will find them to be an enjoyable improvement over the AirPods Pro 1. The question becomes, well, is it worth upgrading to these just due to sound quality improvements? I'd submit that no, it probably isn't, but there's more to these than just sound quality. So let's talk about noise control, shall we? AirPods Pro and AirPods Max ship with 3 noise canceling modes. You've got off, transparency, and noise canceling. Starting from the top, off used to be completely useless. You would lose all of the low end with the entire sound profile getting thin. With AirPods Pro 2, I actually enjoy the off mode. It doesn't utilize your adaptive EQ settings, which does take a noticeable hit in music and movies. However, it does get rid of the noise floor that's associated with the other 2 modes, which I like when I'm listening to something with a lot of dead space. So podcasts and audiobooks. Furthermore, it can save 30 to 45 minutes of listening time in the battery department, which is really great. Maybe they should just rename off mode to Attenborough mode. Next up, we've got transparency mode. What was already very good gets even better. When AirPods Max came out, I praised them for sounding more natural and less processed in transparency mode than the original AirPods Pro. With the AirPods Pro 2, Apple turns the dial up yet again to 11, because 11 is more than 10. Transparency mode on these it's remarkable, to the point where it's almost indistinguishable from having the AirPods removed altogether from your ears. They're that good. This year, Apple brings another feature called adaptive transparency. This is just on by default, wherein the buds are supposed to take high decibel, high frequency, really loud noises and bring them down, normalize them so that they're the same volume as everything else in transparency mode. Does it work? Kinda. When standing on the sidewalk next to a busy road, it did seem that cars passing were less loud than they sounded on my AirPods Max, while other noises, like tapping my shoe on the pavement, remained unchanged, unnormalized, just good volume. However, in other instances, like standing outside of our office next to a lot under construction, why did we rent a recording studio next to that place? I don't know. I'm dumb. Mistakes have been made. I was less convinced by the effect. The rumbling of a diesel crane seems just as loud as if I had the AirPods in versus removed altogether. I actually had to check to make sure that I hadn't messed something up in the settings. It was loud enough that it was not enjoyable. Now, sure enough, if you open up the Noise app on the Apple Watch when the buds are paired to the Apple Watch and only to the Apple Watch, you can actually see how much the AirPods are actively canceling. But I remain skeptical of its claims, and I often felt that despite what it said, it was just frankly too loud. Suggestions from many other reviewers, while good intentioned, to use AirPods in adaptive transparency mode at a concert in lieu of proper hearing protection is extremely unwise. They offer limited hearing protection, but really limited hearing protection. About 23 decibels in reduction, best case scenario. That's not even transparency mode. That's with active noise canceling turned on, which doesn't necessarily translate to a direct decrease in volume due to SPL, but that's really just getting out of the weeds. What I'm saying is, don't go to loud rock concerts if you're not going to wear earplugs, okay? You're going to have tinnitus and be old and deaf. What? When you get out there, use protection, okay? Speaking of protection, speaking of getting out there, you look nice today. Oh, you didn't hear my compliment to you? Well, turn off noise canceling on your AirPods Pro 2. Look, active noise canceling was good on the AirPods Pro, but it wasn't fantastic. There were better options out there. That changes with AirPods Pro 2. It is sensational. Truly, it is unbelievable. Even when nothing is playing, very few noises make it past. Every frequency with repetitive cadence is completely gone. Air conditioners, plane engines, vibrations, gone. Additionally, higher pitched voices, those are gone. Kids? Bye-bye, kids. Your wife? Who? Her? The only thing that's going to get past is lower pitched vocals with timbre. And by get past, what I mean is that you can hear someone is talking, but you can't actually hear what is being said. It is remarkable how improved ANC is. And more importantly, the pressurization that is present on most ANC headphones, certainly on the original Pros, that makes some people nauseous and gives them headaches, that is entirely gone, or almost entirely gone, on AirPods Pro 2, at least to a degree greater than any other pair of ANC headphones I've ever used. If noise canceling has wigged you out in the past, give these a try. They may actually work for you. The low-level noise floor, that hiss isn't gone, but everything else is. It's so good. All right, let's rapid fire some few remaining thoughts. Call quality is better than, well, just about every other pair of headphones on the market, but it's still not great like it is on AirPods Max. My wife reported that I was intelligible, but that it sounded like I was talking on a speakerphone. And when I started to type on my loud keyboard, she told me that it was loud to the point of being difficult to hear me, and that in certain instances she got a painfully sharp noise in her ear. This was a problem on the original AirPods Pro. It's only a problem on the AirPods Pro, and they haven't fixed it. I don't know why. When I switched back over to my iPhone 14 and typed on the keyboard, she said that she couldn't hear it at all. Improvements should be made. Battery life is significantly improved with these AirPods Pro 2. The old Pros, they'd last me about 4 hours when they were new, and then about half that after a couple years, which made long distance flights, frankly, a bit of a pain. Now you can stretch to 6 hours on a single charge before putting them back in the case. And in a couple years, well, you'll probably get 4. We may finally be at a point where we don't have to throw our AirPods away every 2 years because the battery sucks. Hopefully that's the case. In transparency mode, wind, which would often present itself as a distorted mess on the AirPods Pro, the original ones, and even on the AirPods Max, that is greatly improved. You still get an inkling of peaking, but it is way better. If you can't tell, I am a huge fan of the AirPods Pro 2. They took everything that was good about the AirPods Pro and made it better, not least of which the sound quality, because now it is genuinely good. I would not suggest that really anybody buy the original AirPods, even on discount, now that these exist. And if you're feeling like you want to upgrade from the first gens and you're tired of the battery life being sucky, you're not going to be disappointed. Look, I'm not here to pretend that the AirPods Pro 2 are the only options on the market. The market is very healthy. The Samsung Galaxy Buds2 Pro measure extremely well, and the Bose QCE2 are lauded for having even better noise canceling than the AirPods Pro 2. But I think that the AirPods Pro 2, they're the most well-rounded. They're the jack of all trades, and frankly, I think they're the only choice even worth considering if you've bought into the Apple ecosystem. The ecosystem that makes these AirPods just as magical as every version before them. They really are fantastic. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you didn't, that other button doesn't work. Please leave a comment down below. Are you getting the new AirPods Pro 2? If you have them, do you like them? Is there something better? Let me know. I'd like to know. Most importantly, and as always, I don't know why I'm talking like that. Stay sassy. It's late.